Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. If there's a country that's shrouded in enigma, rumor, and controversy, it's none other than North Korea. With its feisty little man at the center of the government, who's regarded as one of the most dangerous people on the planet. With everything rumored to be going on in this country, it's hard to discern fact from fiction in one of the world's most isolated countries. So without further ado, here are 15 dark secrets North Korea doesn't want you to know. Number 1. Childhood. It must be hard being a child in North Korea. Imagine just growing up and not knowing that as a child you have rights. From the little information we get about North Korea, it's clear that the protection of children isn't assured and that their rights are regularly violated. There are restrictions that prevent children from exercising their right to information and express themselves freely. Because of the poverty in the country, many children find themselves homeless and facing adverse living conditions. When it comes to literacy, the country is way ahead of any country in the world. They have universal free education for all children, albeit indoctrinated public education, but it's education nonetheless. North Korea's indoctrination makes sure that high school students must complete a 3-year, 81-hour course on the history of Kim Jong-un, a 160-hour course on Kim II-sung, and 148 hours of Kim Jong-il's talk about Kim's worship. They're really going overboard with this. Number 2. Zoos. North Korea has only one zoo where everyone, from children to adults, goes to see animals they're taught about in school. We could say they've tried with the zoo, but that would be an overstatement. Compared to zoos all over the world, this one is rather depressing to say the least. The zoo is usually supplied with animals by other world dictators such as Chairman Mao, Gaddafi, and Robert Mugabe, who have also regularly visited the zoo. The famous animals in the zoo include monkeys with remarkable basketball skills and a parrot who can recite poetry, honoring the state's previous despotic leader, Kim II-sung. I bet this parrot was trained to do just that. Number 3. Travel. Being a tourist anywhere in the world but North Korea is an amazing feeling. You get to interact with new people and be treated like the guest you are. North Koreans treat tourists as if they were sent by their enemies to spy on them. First of all, the minute you arrive at the airport, they open your bag without consent and search it. They're then made to wear a badge with President Kim II-sung and Kim Jong-il on the left side of their jackets. They claim it shows that great leaders are always close to their hearts. The most absurd rule is to bow to the statues, and all photographs taken must always include the whole statue. No chopping off their head or feet if you don't want to be chopped off yourself. If you get out of the country alive and in good health, then consider yourself a legend. Number 4. Prisons. While there are countries with beautiful prisons that make you want to commit a crime just so you could have a good life there, North Korea isn't one of them. The terror is unexplainable. To make things worse, when you commit a crime, they don't just lock you in alone. You go to prison with 3 of your generation. That means that if your grandfather is guilty, his wife, children, and grandchildren and great-grandchildren will have to face the same punishment. You're guilty by association. How insane is that? Number 5. Food shortages. Since 2007, North Korea has always been classified as a country lacking general access to food and in need of external food aid. It regularly depends on international food assistance to feed its people. It's sad how it's strict with its people, yet it can't feed all of them. The poor continue suffering as the rich exploit them. Number 6. The dark history of the woman who raised Kim Jong-un. While we all know Kim Jong-un's father, Kim Jong-il, the previous leader of North Korea, not much is known about his mother. Information about the woman who brought him into this world is a tightly guarded secret in the country. But rumors spread, and there's always a high chance that rumors are true. The backstory to Kim Jong-un's mother, Ko Young-hui, is similar to the K-drama series we love. The reason Ko was out of the spotlight was because her in-laws never approved of her as the wife of Kim Jong-il. Sounds familiar, right? This was because Ko was an actress and a dancer, and her occupation wasn't the hard-working housewife and worker background that was idealized by the communist regime. To avenge her mother, Kim Jong-un had his uncle executed in 2013, following his ascension to the chairmanship. He always blamed his uncle for aggravating the bad blood between his mother and her in-laws. That's a tough one. Number 7. Labor camps. Am I allowed to say North Korea is one messed up country? Or will I find myself in one of these camps? By camps, I mean prisons. We've already seen how terrible their prison system is. But I guess that doesn't end there. The North Korean government is now exporting the prisoners to be slaves in the Siberian forest in exchange for hard cash. Yeah, that's right, slaves. They do this without telling the prisoners that they're not in Korea anymore. How ruthless is this government? Number 8. Women. If you're a woman in North Korea, one of the most sought-after gigs you can get is being a traffic cop. According to sources, it's reported that the women in these roles are often hand-picked for the job, with being tall and attractive being a major factor in successfully scoring the gig. To make things even weirder, there's even a fan site dedicated to the women who direct traffic in the country's capital, Pyongyang. Number 9. Sarcasm. Okay, this guy has really gone overboard with this dictatorship. How in the world can you ban sarcasm? The government is trying to make certain phrases illegal, even in casual conversation. Mentioning Kim Jong-un in everyday conversation or making indirect criticism of the authoritarian government isn't allowed at all. What he fears is that people only agree with him, ironically without actually agreeing with him. This is true. I mean, he's a dictator in the 21st century. What did he expect? Poor guy. No one will ever genuinely love him. Who cares? Number 10. Military. You certainly know that North Korea has a very large army, but you might not be aware of its exact size. It's the 4th largest standing army on Earth, with an estimated 1.19 million individuals serving in the military. The military is so powerful that the United States and its Asian allies see North Korea as a grave security threat. They've tested missiles that could strike the United States with a nuclear warhead. The powerful military has aroused a lot of concern worldwide. Number 11. Kim Jong-un. Let's get to know about this crazy feisty little man. It's claimed he was only 28 when he became North Korea's supreme leader after his father Kim Jong-il passed away in 2011. I don't know about you, but isn't it concerning to know that this guy with no formal military training is at the command of the 4th largest military in the world? What of his wife? What does she have to say about being the wife of the most dangerous man on Earth? Well, as we expected, she doesn't talk. She's there to make Kim Jong-un appear affectionate, devoted, and very considerate. Deep down, she could just be a happy woman in public and sad behind closed doors. It must be sad to be her, don't you think? Number 12. The North Korean won. Like its country, the North Korean currency is a complicated topic. It's a blocked currency and can't be freely converted into other currencies on the foreign exchange market. The North Korean government keeps it under strict control, and it uses a special convertible won that can be used by foreign visitors who travel to and within the country. Number 13. The anniversary of Kim II Sung's death. North Koreans have a weird special way of remembering their former kings. The bodies of the late Supreme Leader Kim Jong-il and his father, the great leader Kim II Sung, who came before him, have been embalmed and entombed. They're preserved and on display in a glass casket for everyone to see in a museum. The mausoleum is situated in Pyongyang's former presidential palace, Kumsusan Palace of the Sun. There are people in line daily to view them, and there are rigorous guidelines for how to dress and bow when there. In a similar manner, the remains of past world leaders Mao Zedong, Ho Chi Minh, and Lenin are also on display. Well, that's communism for you. Number 14. Freedom of religion. If there's no type of freedom, then it's obvious that there's no freedom of religion in North Korea. To the world, it may seem that North Korea guarantees freedom of religion, but in reality, this isn't the case. North Korea is an atheist state, though the citizens are commonly taught from an early age about the dangers and negative effects of religion. Some continue to practice their religion underground, regardless of the dangers involved. They mostly practice shamanism and Hinduism, as well as Christianity and Buddhism. Number 15. Power propaganda. To have a good time in this strict country, you must follow its very strict guidelines. From everything you've found out about North Korea, I bet you're grateful for the country you live in, and you choose it again and again over North Korea or any other communist country. It's now official that the power North Korea has over its citizens and tourists isn't like that of any other country. The next time you complain about the little things, remember the people in North Korea. Kim Jong-un and his ruling class are here, taking most of the country's natural resources and leaving the working class to slowly waste away. You can't even watch your favorite blockbuster and have to gaze at military propaganda. I'll pass, thank you. Until next time, adios.